Hi everybody, we're here to show you how to plant topiaries. So we went out and picked our topiaries. I got a frog and Denise has got her cat. And we went down to the local garden center and picked up some plant material.
Some people think it's actually really difficult to plant. It isn't. It's really easy, and we're going to show you a couple different ways to plant. So we went down and there was all kinds of flowering plants and things like that, but they all seem to be a bit too tall. We prefer to stick with plants that are a little bit low growing so they can keep the shape of the form, and there's not so much maintenance involved. Karina picked a Haworthia, which is similar to a hens and chicks as far as the water requirements and maintenance. It also gives off babies. She's probably going to use that to go down the side of the frog to create a ridge, and then she'll use either this stone crop or this stone crop, which is just a sedum, and they require very little water as well. And I couldn't decide between woolly thyme, which is a low creeping plant, or Irish moss, but I think I'm going to use Irish moss for my cat.
So before you plant your topiary, you need to wet the moss really well. We like to use a container and actually dunk the topiary if it's small enough. If you have a larger item, you would use your gardening hose or something to wet it really well. When you dunk the topiary, just put it in the water and wait for all the bubbles to come out. Once it's done, take it out and drip dry it. Now that our topiary is wet and the excess water has dripped out, we're going to start planting. Now, I don't know much about plants, so when I went to the local garden center, I really liked these two. I asked the associate to kind of tell me a little bit about the plant, just in the way it roots, so I know how to plant it into either the ground or, in our case, the topiary. She was very helpful and told me that with these ones, I simply have to pull them out, and they will, I kind of take a little bit of the excess leaf off, poke a hole into the moss, something sharp, and stick the little end right into the moss and fill it around. And it will root just like that. So I'm going to keep doing that, and hopefully it'll look pretty.
Now, for my cat, I am familiar with this plant, so I knew that it was going to stay low but look fuzzy, and it also roots a lot. So anywhere, if I just take it out of the pot and I just literally rip pieces like this, I can plant this right into the moss and continue on. Initially, I'm not going to trim this because sometimes when you plant, the root goes into a little bit of shock, so I'm going to let that settle, and in a few days or a week, once it's settled in, I can trim it and it'll stay nice and short against the frame of the cat. So with my plant, I have a lot of plant material here. I could probably fill this whole thing in and have it look full immediately. Something like Karina's, she's going to plant and it's going to look a little bit sparse at first, but it will eventually fill in. Once Karina's planted this plant here, the stone crop, and it has sat for approximately a week or so and established, then she can literally just trim the top and allow it to drop down to the moss, and it'll root and fill in on its own. But we're just going to keep planting here outside, enjoying the weather, and we're going to finish planting and you'll see it when it's all done. So with my plant, like I said before, it has established roots, and I'm just literally breaking the root base up and putting the root right into the moss. With something like Karina's plants though, she's taking cuttings. So you just have your stem, and if you wanted to ensure the rooting process, give it a little bit of a push, there's a product called stem root that you can take that, dip it right into it's a powder, dip it into it and then plant it in. It just helps it to root, gives it a little bit more,
Little boost to get started. Hey guys, we're done. Literally took 15 minutes to plant our cute little critters up. I did my frog. Here he is. And here's Denise's cat. Now, we didn't show as much of the planting that Denise did because mine took way longer than hers. Hers covers a greater area at once. The just the way the plant grows. So mine did take longer. Now what we're going to do is...
Well, so now you're going to take them and you're going to put them into a shaded area for about a week and water them like a hanging basket. Whatever the plants require, that's kind of what you want to water them. I would keep them moist maybe for the first week, but I would also use a starter fertilizer. And then once they're established, after that you can put them wherever you want them to go, in your garden or wherever.
And our next video, we're going to talk about maintenance of the plants. So thanks for watching.